On to our fourth team. The last two teams are going to be based around Ghost Rider because he was the most popular figure on that poll. This one is going to be theme team just because I tend to make videos for Heroclix that go around theme teams just because it's easier and it can be a little bit more exciting instead of just slapping a bunch of powerful figures together, you know? So theme teams are a lot of fun to build, and there's a lot of options within those keywords. And this is pretty cool. We get to see a lot of different figures that you might not necessarily see, and a lot of comic book characters play this game and they like to play comic accurate teams, or somewhat, you know? So this one is gonna be a Midnight Suns team, 300 points. So you know, I like to keep at 300 points just because that's like the traditional lowest team and competitive level, and then you can always build up on this to make it larger. And I just felt this one gave you the best options at 300 points if you decide to play Ghost Rider. So you have Ghost Rider at 145, Blade at 85 points. This team can support the 93 point Blade, but then you just have a lot of less points to finish out the team. And then I have Frank Drake at 55 points. And this team is, you know, it's interesting here because you have Outwit with Frank, and then you have both of these characters, Blade and Ghost Rider, having Dom. They're both Chargers. You don't get any benefit of, you know, copying Mystics, so only Mystics on Ghost Rider. If you play the other Blade, he would be able to copy the Mystics, so that's another option. If you play this version, it is 285, so you have 15 points. You could do a 15-point gauntlet, which is kind of interesting if you decide you want to go that route to try to get those bonuses, though you're going to be trying to make it a longer match so you can roll to get those bonuses. Or you could throw on a full-blown utility belt on one of these characters. That's your option. I don't really want to decide that for you, but that's something you can consider. Blade has a pretty long dial of blades. He also gets bonuses to selected characters, I think monsters and mystical characters. But then he also can track a character at the beginning of the game to make it really hard for them to break away once he gets to them. So that's pretty nice, especially if you carry Blade with Ghost Rider and then you base that character is not getting away and has to deal with Blade and Ghost Rider, and then you have Frank come up and use some Outwit to outwit whatever power that character may hurt you with. You could just take their defense out. They have poison, take their poison out. They have Outwit, take their Outwit. You know, some options there. And I like Frank here because he's got stealth, he's got willpower, Outwit, and Psychic Blast. He doesn't have a huge range of 5, but you could post him up in some hindrance terrain and be somewhat of a threat if you keep your, you know, your close combat characters around there so that he can, you know, do some pop shots, take out some nice Outwit out there. And he's got willpower too, so you can kind of, you know, if he needs to move into position to get that Outwit, he can do that. I like this team. It has a lot of you know, mobility in the fact that you can basically push every single one of these characters on every turn. They all have willpower, either in the form of Indom or willpower. I like the attack stats, 11s on Blade and Ghost Rider, and you have 10 with Drake, 300 points. If you want to expand this and add some other nasty Midnight Suns on this team, you could, you know, blow it out to be something more powerful, 400, 500 point team, if not higher than that. But these are cool. I think Blade is a popular figure as well. For our fifth and final team, we have this mystical team featuring Ghost Rider. Now, I want to cover something really quick here. That Doctor Strange in the background is actually an astral Doctor Strange for 13 points. So we got that out of the way. This team adds up to 499 mystical themed team with 6 figures. So this is a very, very interesting team here. For a generic theme team, you need 1 figure for every 100 points you play. Now you say, well, you have 5 figures at 500 points. Well, no, because there's blocks of 300. So 500 team is actually blocked in at 600. So you would have to have 6 figures. It's kind of difficult to make a generic theme team at 400 points because you have to have 6 figures. So now that we got that out of the way, take a look at this team. It's pretty interesting. Definitely different than those previous teams because we have a lot of range here. We have Ghost Rider, but that's really going to be for protection for our ranged characters. So how does this team get played? Well, you have the Ghost Rider at 145. He's going to be in the back line. You're going to have all these characters like Brother Voodoo and Dr. Voodoo and Enchantress on the front line with their pretty good range, right? Then you have Brother Voodoo. It's going to more look like something like this. You're going to have that as your front line. Ghost Rider is going to be perched back. And then you're going to have your Astral Doctor Strange kind of on the side here, you know, possibly. Brother Voodoo on the front line with Prob. He's got that special mind control if you have one token, so that's going to be huge. What you're going to want to do is phase him out, get a token, have him, you know, mind control, and then TK him back with Enchantress. So he's back, right back there. The cool thing with the Ancient One, he's got leadership, and he can take tokens off of characters of 150 if they are mystical, in addition to the normal effects. But he is 78 points, so the only character on this team that he can take tokens off of regularly would be Enchantress and Astral Strange, the Astral Strange Doctor Strange. So those aren't going to be that big of a deal. I would probably recommend playing the Smoke Cloud Doctor Strange Astral, just because it gives you a little bit more options because you're probably not going to use the end cap. Then you have Dr. Voodoo to do the run and shot, Psychic Blast. He's got Perplex and he's got support. Ghost Rider, like I said before, keep him in behind and then have him come around if they decide they want to come close. Have him fly over there and he doesn't fly, but have him come in there and charge, and then deter them from doing all that kind of good stuff. This is a range team, so try to keep your range to your benefit. Ghost Rider is going to be for close combat, so you have range and close combat. Use the TK and phase combination with Brother Voodoo. Use leadership and barrier with the Ancient One. He also, if he gets KO'd, he can give +1 stats to a character, so that's really, really good. You know, I don't know who I would recommend adding that to. Obviously, it depends on what character is still in the game, but it has to be on a mystical character, but all these characters are mystical. Brother Voodoo or Dr. Voodoo or Ghost Rider are all good options. Probably not Enchantress, but she's a pretty good ranged attacker as well with 10 and 3 damage and 8 range with 2 targets. Enchantress, like I said, she's got Prob and TK. And yeah, that's pretty much this team. Also, with the Ancient One, he has enhancement. So that front line gets a bonus to their damage from range attacks. So that's going to be pretty interesting. And Dr. Voodoo is a flyer, so he can carry any of those characters like Brother Voodoo or Enchantress because they're grounded characters. An Ancient One is a flyer, but he only has 5 movement, so he can carry someone, but not necessarily far, because if he does, it's only going to be 3 movement. So, you know, you're just probably going to post up with your barrier and use that. I think this is a pretty fun team for 500 points, mystical theme team. Pretty interesting. A lot of probability here, a ton of probability on this team. So hopefully you enjoyed my 5 teams that I built for you from the 3 most popular figures on the survey. Thanks a lot, guys. Take it easy, and don't forget you can pre-order Iron Man 3 and Teen Titans at trollandtoad.com. Definitely check them out. Have a good day, guys, and hope you guys enjoyed these 5 teams.